1st January 2020. Lieutenant Colonel Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua, announcer.
Full of your education and transform.
This is beautiful.
Quality is vital. Quality is Vitafoam.
Hello, honey.
Hey, baby.
Wow. Those guys are good in bed.
What?
Yes, we're good in bed. Hurry now to any Vitafoam accredited dealer nationwide or visit us online on www.vitafoamng.com to place your order today. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
Welcome back to News Extra. It was a night of super excitement for Lagos residents as they ushered in the New Year 2020. Annie Daniels, who visited some churches in the metropolis, reports that clergies reeled out prophetic predictions for the New Year.
As has been the tradition, church services characterized the New Year Eve. Worshippers in churches visited were in high spirits with prayers and praises to God to usher in the New Year 2020. Then came the moment everybody has been waiting for.
For God to make us to at least end the 2019 in His presence and ushered us into His presence too. In 2020, we give God all the glory.
The message by clergies on this special day is that of hope for better days ahead.
We should not look at the things we are seeing. They are temporary. But what God is about to do, God will change the situation and we all will glorify Him.
God truly wants to bless this nation. He's waiting for us to move His hands so that He can bless this nation, and He will do so.
Nigerians, he says, put God first in everything you are doing. Once is the first, He will guide you aright. But if you go by your own wisdom will not take you far. So put God first, be prayerful, practice righteousness, which exalts a nation.
Yeah, 2020, clergy say, will be a year of unbelievable answers to prayers, at least to those who will commit their ways into the hands of God. However, advisor for this to become a reality, dignity and integrity should be their watchwords. At the Lagos countdown, fireworks rent the air to usher in the New Year 2020. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
In the meantime, Christians have been urged to rebrand their minds for the salvation of their souls and prosperity of the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was the central message of New Year sermons across churches in some parts of the country.
The New Year service was simultaneously held to usher in the year 2020 and to appreciate God for the preservation of lives and provision of bounties throughout 2019. In Makurdi, Hussaini Mohammed reports that Christians were urged to rededicate their lives to the worship of God and service to humanity, as 2019 was a testimony for the grace of God in spite of human shortcomings.
I took the two national anthems, Nigeria, we heard it, Arise, O Compatriot. The wordings are very heavy. Unfortunately, are we following it?
All of us, we look at ourselves as brothers and sisters in the country. It's not good for us to part away. Anything that would tend to divide us, we will go against that thing.
Reports from Lafia that scores of Christians converged to worship across churches where the message of peace and harmony by the clergy dominated the service.
We came out today with joy, so that peace should speak in our life, should speak in our transaction.
Everyone has to get closer to God, have a more cordial relationship with God.
Leaders and the led, all will put heads together to see that we get it right.
Similar message prevailed in Ibadan, where correspondent Larry Beleyi reports that religious adherents were admonished to embrace peace and forgive one another for
clarity of purpose, and heat took center stage across many states where the New Year services held this morning. And Momsoda Mendati captured some of the states in this report.
In Enugu, the message centered on the need to begin with God and a new slave, seeking his face daily and exhibiting spiritual discipline throughout the year.
We have shown ourselves to be very resilient, defied all negative predictions about Nigeria. So we thank God for that gift. I congratulate all Nigerians.
But we must therefore have a new name for Nigeria by circumcising our hearts and drawing closer to God, and allow Jesus Christ to come into our lives to live a righteous life.
While in Akure, Olubumi Oroju reports that clerics were optimistic of better days ahead, calling on Nigerians to be hopeful of good tidings and a new decade.
Let's believe that the Lord will give us the best, and the Lord will help us that Ondo State will live to take testimony of the faithfulness of God.
I will also advise the citizens to be good citizens. They should do what they ought to do. They should pay their taxes. They should obey civil authority.
From Calabar, Nigerians were told to shift from religious tolerance to religious acceptability in the interest of nation building and love for mankind.
On the first day of the first month of a new year, we are simply saying, God, as it was in the beginning, create what will be pleasing to you for us.
So we need not just tolerance, but acceptance to live together and allow each person the room to worship the same God, but in different ways.
A similar message was preached in Abeokuta, urging Christians to be thankful and ambassadors of peace at all times.
Similarly, as we mark the New Year 2020, messages of hope, unity and restoration have been pouring in from various quarters. Kenneth Nanim compiled these felicitations with Nigerians to usher in the New Year.
Of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan says the year 2020 will usher in robust peace and economic growth for the benefit of all Nigerians. In a New Year message by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ola Awani, Senator Lawan congratulates Nigerians for witnessing the end of 2019 and the beginning of the year 2020. He held the resilience of Nigerians in their commitment to the unity and prosperity of the country and support for the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Senator Lawan says he has no doubt that with the timely passage of the budget, restoration of the January to December financial year, and other constitutional amendments recently made by the 9th National Assembly, the economy will enjoy significant growth in the new year. He wishes every Nigerian at home or abroad a happy and prosperous 2020. Meanwhile, the Speaker of House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has felicitated with Nigerians in the new year. He celebrates God's faithfulness to Nigerians having peacefully witnessed the general elections that heralded the journey to the next level of national growth and progress. The new year 2020, Gbajabiamila says, would be better for citizens and calls for thanksgiving to God, the Creator. The Speaker also says he believes the country will prosper in all ramifications in the new year and urged Nigerians to be their brother's keepers by strengthening their resolve to remain together with strong unity of purpose. Similarly, the Northern Governors Forum rejoices with Nigerians on the celebration of a new year 2020, urging for collective resolve to build a Nigeria that is more united, prosperous and equitable. The forum prospects that year 2020 is full of prospects and opportunities for Nigerians to work for the upliftment of the country by supporting governments at all levels to carry out development initiatives that will strengthen the economy and its people. It enjoins all to be patriotic and be committed to making the desired sacrifices that are needed to building a nation that is self-sufficient and strong enough to provide opportunities for its people to flourish. A New Year message from the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Reverend Dr. Samson Ayokunle, also expresses hope for the nation and fulfillment of God's agenda for Nigeria. As the nation enters another new year, the Christian Association of Nigeria has charged all Nigerians, especially the Christian community, to remain steadfast in their faith, confidence and hope, because God is deeply concerned about Nigeria and his plans and purposes will be fulfilled in our nation against all odds. In a statement by the All Progressive Congress APC National Publicity Secretary Lanre Issa Onilu, APC notes that the country's landmark return to January-December budget cycle is a feat achieved by the APC-led National Assembly and Executive. The party acknowledged that President Muhammadu Buhari's government is vigorously tackling and solving the socio-economic and security challenges and assured all compatriots that the faithful execution of policies and programs of the current administration would be further intensified in this new year. The party urged its members to support and cooperate with the recently constituted National Reconciliation Committee, which is empowered to address grievances of party members and resolve existing conflicts, all with a view to fostering unity and oneness within the party across the country. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Kenneth, for those beautiful messages there. Now, the year 2020 is the commencement of a new decade, and with its first day on the way, counting down has begun. And as Nigerians join the rest of the world to cross over into the new year, the message of hope for a better nation that her citizens will be proud of forms the crux of sermons by clergies. Oluseye Adiagbo, who covered some churches' engagements, finds out the significance of the crossover night to believers.
Ayobami Olatokun and his family are among early arrivals at this church. And for the father of three, 2019, like every other year, is with its ups and downs, but thanks to God that spares his life to witness a new year.
When we look back and we are still alive, we are just giving thanks to God.
Just like him, Christians are gathered at worship centers, not only to thank God for the gift of life, but also to offer prayers for a marvelous new year 2020.
It's a year of unprecedented experience. In the name of Jesus.
Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, North Central Zone, Reverend Israel Akonji, and other ministers of God, in their separate sermons say absolute trust in God with the heart of repentance is key to enjoying greater grace in the year 2020.
As we enter the year, let us know that there is a God in heaven who also is interested in intimate relationship with us.
I want the entire Nigerians not to lose hope, not to lose faith in this unfailing God. He has helped us as a nation. He will carry us through.
I asked Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo the importance of the crossover night.
And the Bible says there are supposed to be signs and seasons for us. Seasons represent new things. Not knowing what to do is what makes people have the same thing year in, year out. A wise man said you never recover from a good start.
Gospel artist Tope Alabi also led the congregation at the Commonwealth of Zion, Koza, with special rendition to appreciate God. Prayers of peace and stability for Nigeria also featured at the crossover night services covered. In Abuja, Oluseye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Well, that's it for now on the new year. When we come back from this break, we shall do a sectoral review of 2019. 2019 is already sounding strange to my ear, but that's what we'll do. Review 2019. Please stay with us.
The beat and keep talking this festive season, Nigeria.
Expressions
without words won't have it any other way. Moments will feel joy. Been lost in the moment, the freedom. You will find that's what's celebrating. Bring your moments alive. Find your satisfaction in the nourishing, trending, sparkling. Let's celebrate a little ways, making big differences in the nourishing, trending, sparkling.
Enjoy in red grape, white grape, peach variants, Valletta sparkling fruit drink. Celebrate every moment.
Irresistible and nutritious. So delicious. Oh, original. It's for me and you. I love my everybody. Join me. Everywhere I go, everybody testify. I love my extraordinary.
Wishing you a season like no other from Indomie. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
What's football without banter? We love banter. Oh.
It's not as bad as 0-0.
Diano, you're only calling to banter.
You got someone
bad belly banter.
Your team can't even score an own goal.
Dry banter.
I beg, take Joe. This is the only cup your team will be winning this season.
And then there's that. Better banter. Whatever the banter better with Coca-Cola, the official soft drink partner of the English Premier League.
Great to have you back. The solid mineral sector is set to be gunning for the second position on the revenue generation chart of the nation. But how feasible is this aspiration? Let's join Mayor Ogidi as he takes stock of some milestones recorded in the ministry in the year 2019.
If any story must be told about the Mines and Steel Ministry for the year 2019, it has to be the story of the Ajaokuta Steel Company for returning to our first love, that is Russia, during the Russia-Africa Summit.
Mr. President discussed with President Putin on Ajaokuta Steel.
Russia is willing to come in, and of course Ajaokuta will work before Mr. President completes this second term.
Though young and studying the documents of a complicated sector, Olamileko and Ogechukwu Oga held a series of consultations with investors and regional meetings, best described as meeting of minds to liberalize the operations. This sound is what excites many because it's a sound of revival and hope. Now, investors' confidence is growing in double digits. $600 million investment in steel production, largest non-oil sector investment, is to the credit of the federal government's policy in the ease of doing business.
It complements Nigeria's desire to be self-sustaining and become an independent steel producer, not dependent on imports.
The under-declaration of mining products in various states and other unwholesome activities of operators affect the revenue drive of the solid mineral.
The operation is under the yoke of ambiguity in our legal system, which puts the ownership of land surface in the purview of state governments and the minerals under it in the control of federal authorities. This delay has resulted into multiple control and taxation on the mining industry and its operators.
With this foundation properly laid in the year 2019 by the new leaders in the helm of affairs in the ministry, expectations are new year means new innovations, new revenue channels, and more transparency in transactions in the sector. Mayor Ogidi, NT News.
And in continuation of the sectoral reviews in 2019, Joshua Ojito takes a look at how power sector fared in the outgone year.
Challenges of power in Nigeria persist in 2019 as Nigerians grappled with inadequate power supply. In fact, record shows that power distribution in 2019 hovered between 2,000 to 5,114.2 megawatts, which industry players say is inadequate for the country. But the narrative is changing as federal government sustains investment in the sector in 2019 under its power sector recovery program, expected to provide additional 2,000 megawatts of electricity to be added on the national grid.
The ministry under my leadership has articulated 5 key focal areas through which the aspiration of Mr. President to ensure energy sufficiency in power can be achieved in line with the power sector recovery program. Number 1, electricity market liquidity and sustainability. And number 2, infrastructure alignment, both transmission and distribution. 3, fast-track implementation of federal government intervention projects, that is Mambila Hydro Power, Zongiro Hydro, Jigawa Solar City.
There is also the signing of electricity roadmap agreement between federal government and the German-based Siemens to achieve 25,000 megawatts of electricity to Nigerians by the year 2025.
The Siemens agreement will boost capacity in terms of generation, in terms of resolving the issues of the bottlenecks in the distribution interface.
Another watershed in the power sector in 2019 is the inauguration of ad hoc committee to review status and ownership structure of distribution companies headed by the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. The decision industry players describe as milestone towards improving the capacity of distribution companies. Similarly, the 22-man ministerial task force set up by the Minister of Power, Saleh Mamman, to drive the reforms in the sector raises hope of improved power supply in the year 2020.
The task force is going to take time to study the sector thoroughly and look at the specific aspects that have not changed over the years.
As part of the ongoing reorganization and restructuring of the Ministry of Power for efficient service delivery, the Minister of Power rounded off the year with the suspension of Managing Director of Rural Electrification Agency, Damilola Ogumbiyi, and Managing Director of Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, Marilyn Amobi. Also in 2019, the National Union of Electricity Employees embarked on one-day strike to press on their demands, and the intervention of the National Assembly seems to have mended imminent shock circuits in electricity supply in the country. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The year 2019 has been a remarkable year for the transportation sector in Nigeria, as many described the industry as a true reflection of the next level agenda of this administration. Oyinaya Kalu Oka in this special report x-rays the sector and its impact to Nigerians.
If one says the transportation industry in Nigeria enjoyed so much attention in 2019, it may not be far from the truth based on the projects on ground, from state of neglect, decay and abandonment to that of life, transformation and revolution. Let's start with the rail sector. For more than 30 years, the Itakpe-Warri-Ajaokuta rail project was abandoned. In 2019, the track laying for the 320 kilometers rail line was completed. Test running started since 2018.
We are so happy now. We appreciate this government because since we were born, we have not seen life like this.
Determined to link the city centers with vibrant rail system, federal government and the Chinese construction company signed an agreement of $3.9 billion to extend the Itakpe-Warri-Ajaokuta line to Abuja and the Warri ports.
This is part of the next level agenda of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari to address the huge deficit of infrastructure we have.
Another huge project is the 126 kilometers Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line that has commenced free ride for passengers for test running.
My experience is wonderful.
We'll agree that this is the first time we're taking a ride to Ibadan major station. So shouldn't you commend them that they have been able to get to the end of the 156 kilometers.
This project created hundreds of direct and indirect jobs.
The opening of this place, we are benefiting from this place.
The rapid development in the transportation sector was taken a step further in 2019 with the groundbreaking ceremonies of the University of Transportation in Daura, Katsina State, and the wagon assembly plant in Kajola, Ogun State. The University of Transportation, expected to be completed in 18 months, will domesticate railway engineering and transportation in Nigeria besides job creation. Once this university is inaugurated, I will apply.
Anything about transportation engineering, transportation management, economics, I think it will be covered in this university.
The wagon assembly plant in Kajola, Ogun State, is to meet the needs of providing about 500 wagons yearly.
We are very happy because without this project, nobody will know Kajola.
Is the development in the transportation sector only affecting the rail? The answer is capital no, as the maritime sector is also witnessing key transformation. The Barrow River port, neglected for years, was revived to a modern port and inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. Federal government also gave approval to the Cross River State government for the construction of the Bakassi Deep Sea ports. For transparency, efficiency, and ease of doing business at the ports, the Nigerian Shippers Council organized a sub-regional summit on high shipping charges. Tackling insecurity at the Gulf of Guinea was a major issue at the Global Maritime Security Conference. From all indications, many Nigerians believe that 2020 is going to be a bright year for the transportation sector with the federal government's commitment as they await the inauguration of the Itakpe-Warri line as well as the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. Also, the kicking off of the coastal line and the Ibadan to Kano rail line. They are also awaiting from the maritime sector the inland dry port in other zones and the truck transit park. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Thank you, Oyinaya Kalu Oka, for that. Now to education. The education sector in 2019 enthused many due to major breakthroughs in the sector that are giving hope for not only a rebound, but also a new course that will facilitate development of the country through knowledge-based endeavors. Olayinka Ojo, in reviewing some of the subsectors in Nigerian education, reports that cheats are now cautious as regulating agencies step up their jobs.
This queue of candidates registering for JAMB continued to get longer by the day as more secondary school leavers aspire to gain admission. But in 2019, the line became shorter, not because there are no longer a high number of candidates, but because many that came with the hope of cutting corners met their Waterloo.
This my 153, I can enter Polytechnic. I will change my course, so nothing like JAMB or grading.
Adaiche is one of the first victims of JAMB's new resolve to stop cheats. He was apprehended for allegedly increasing his JAMB score to gain admission. Those who indulge in multiple registrations like Baba Gana, who registered 223 times with different names, was also discovered and his accomplices either caught or are on the run.
It's high time we really get rid of them because they are tarnishing not only the image of education but also destroying the future.
These led to JAMB resulting to demanding national identification number as a criteria for registration subsequently.
If we do not face the difficulty today, we are sentencing these boys and girls to a future that will be bleaker than our own. Each of our CBT centers has been mapped to NIMSI registration center. If you have NIL, you just go straight and start your registration.
It was not only candidates like Adaiche and Babagana who felt the heavy blow of JAMB in 2019. 133 CBT centers with fraudulent records were delisted from conducting exams. At the National Examination Council, NECO, it was double tragedy for cheats, as many staff of the council found wanting were not only shown the way out, but also prosecuted. Just like JAMB, NECO also delisted schools and cancelled examination results of more than 40,000 candidates. While NECO and JAMB were cleaning up the system for efficiency and credibility, Teachers were also on their toes, especially unqualified ones.
From January of next year, if you are not a qualified teacher, you will have no place in our classrooms.
In 2019 alone, more teachers wrote the examination than 2017 and 2018 put together.
I don't want to be thrown out of the class. That was why I came for the exam.
As a teacher, you have to be very vast in knowledge.
It was not a one-size-fits, although, as people with special needs had special considerations from the Teachers Registration Council.
We are already in discussion with the Federal College of Education, Special Oyo, to be able to develop our modules in Brailles. And the same thing we apply to the questions.
But before then, agencies in the education system have vowed to continue to deal with malpractices in line with the anti-corruption program of the present administration. Unqualified teachers will be the first to feel the brunt of these efforts in 2020 as the deadline for qualify or get out takes effect January 1st. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
So far, so good, right? But wait for the next segment. Remember, I told you I have something up my sleeve. That will be after these messages.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka, no panic. There's no panic. You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Yeah, press OK. Wow, now you self fit catch all those channels will be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do,
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes, and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, fearless, loyal, and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting to honor the memory of the gallant martyrs and men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep them united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
We have come to the end of another successful year, and we wish to appreciate all those that mean so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2019 great. Together, we shall make 2020 even greater. That is why we say, thank you. This is wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Good to have you back. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated his administration's commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and property of residents throughout the year. He stated this shortly after the state security meeting at the Government House. Nosa Osula reports.
Security is the backbone of any society. It is tied to its social, political, economic, and cultural growth. Negligence of this vital ingredient of development has led to all manner of social ills, including violent crimes such as armed robbery, ritual killings, child trafficking, and other crimes. Governor Sanwo-Olu expressed gratitude to the various security agencies which he said have been cooperating with the state government to ensure the protection of lives and property in the states.
There were a lot of positive reviews, and there were a lot of new strategies that we're also embarking on. And like you've observed, as a chief security officer, all my security apparatus are supporting me. We'll continue to make Lagos a safe haven for everybody that wants to remain lawful and peaceful. Lagos will continue to be home to you.
Equally, we review the issue of the traffic in the states, especially those that are contributing to the human-made ones of those driving against traffic, the menace of the Okadas, and very soon now state government policies will be coming up in respect of that.
The State's Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, commended the various security agencies in the state for ensuring low crime rates during the Christmas celebration. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
And I know you must have heard somewhere that hard work pays. But what does it feel like when the recognition comes unexpectedly after decades of meritorious service to humanity? Well, the latest recognition has to do with 13 traffic control officers who were honored for their selfless service. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports that some of the award recipients also secured scholarship for their children.
Antonia Chiwendu is resuming for duty, ready to start the control of traffic at her current post. For 25 years now, she has been serving the Nigerian police force, and ensuring orderliness on the roads is a job this mother of three does with passion. The inspector's command of the traffic is smooth and confident, who says the road users are not feeling the impact of the services of officers in charge of controlling traffic. Though these traffic wardens might not be aware that the public is watching, the presentation of these hampers to each of them by a spirited individual, Israeli Belema, founder Israeli Belema Foundation, is providing answers to that. 8 of them who were selected within different police commands also enjoy scholarship for a child of theirs, and 2 out of 5 from among units of the FRSC across the FCT also enjoy same.
I don't expect seeing something like this, but it just came. So I'm very, very happy.
And I also want my fellow Nigerian police, those on the road, to know that whatever we are doing on the road that people are watching, we should put more effort.
For the man driving this initiative, Israeli Belema, security is everyone's business.
If you want Nigeria to have more good schools, start from your community, let's contribute. If you want Nigeria to have good and safe environment, encourage the security personnel around you, whether get man, anywhere. Let's think of how you should build a Nigeria of our dream.
When you work really hard, you get to reap great benefits of your efforts. Sergeant Sambo Aldo is one of the recognized officers, and after the honor done him, he's back to his duty post, doing what he knows how to do best. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
You know, it is always different when you have passion for what you do. So, keep up the good work, and congratulations to them. Now, hard work, they say, calls for more work. But to achieve success, there should be room for reward. It is against this backdrop that the Nigerian Army recognized and honored 5 soldiers, a civil joint task force personnel, and a hunter for their act of gallantry in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations during a medal parade in Goza, Borno State. Goza, the once troubled town, also witnessed the 2019 Army West African Social Activities, WASA. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa brings us to speed on all of these and explains why Goza town was selected as venue for this historic event.
Hassan Umar of Goza specializes in making school furniture. The artisan once fled his hometown at the peak of insurgency. The return of stability in parts of Goza, a town once ravaged by the Boko Haram terrorists, gave him the opportunity to return, resettle, and resume work. The celebrated victory, Umar says, is not without a price. Battle have been fought and won by the military, and to also reaffirm that The Nigerian government is in control of all territories. The Nigerian Army is hosting its 2019 medal parade and Wasa.
The celebration of this Wasa is also a time to extol our efforts at ensuring that our country is rid of unwanted elements which has kept this part of our country in rampage, destruction, killings, and untold hardship.
The award of this medal, no doubt, is in recognition of your commitment and display of professional competence and gallantry. This is evident in your ability to grapple with the complex operation environment and inherent threats to achieve success in various missions assigned in the theater of operation.
These 5 soldiers, a member of the Civilian Joint Task Force and a hunter, were rewarded for their loyalty and dedication.
To the soldiers here, I want to thank you on behalf of Goza people. We cannot thank you enough, but we will continue to pray that you will get more medals.
To Governor Babagana Zulum, the event, though an avenue to appreciate sacrifices and courage, it also calls for sober reflection.
While appreciating all the efforts of the Nigerian military paramilitaries, CGTF handles the vigilante for combating the menace of the insurgents, I still implore the Nigerian Army and the paramilitary to be more committed.
As the 2019 operational year comes to an end, Wasa brings together officers, soldiers, and their families to usher in the new year and to promote the nation's rich, diverse cultural heritage. From Goza in Borno State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Oh, that report, you know, I have that nostalgic feel about that report, Ismail, I tell you, because I'm actually from Goza local government, so you know how it feels. We're all in the celebration mood, so let's join Doyin Dia at the Baobab Cultural Festival, which has its roots from the days of slave trade. The festival being celebrated by the people of Igbobini in Eseodo local government area of Ondo State has been in existence for centuries now. What is so special about the Baobab? And is there any significance to the socio-economic development of Nigeria? Doyin, you're on ground there, so tell us about it.
Igbobini is a small settlement in Eseodo local government area of Ondo State. Founded over 2 centuries ago, the town is unique in so many ways, being the first to receive the Western missionaries in the 18th century in that region, having the first missionary school established in 1887. But that is just a story for another day. For now, it is the convergence of sons and daughters of Igbobini town as well as guests at the Baobab Annual Festival.
From origin, it has been in the 18-something. When they first came here, it is the oldest festival as far as Ondo State is concerned.
There are 2 significant activities that characterize the Baobab Festival: the early morning procession by women and children, followed by a separate procession by men and a joint procession to the riverbank, where prayers and supplication are made.
They will go and come raffia front leaves just to be cleansing. They will just be using it to be cleansing everybody that appear in Baobab. Whatever is the sickness or diseases in your body, it will be cleansed off.
Our government will pray for them. Igbobini industrial sons and daughters, wherever they may be, both home and diaspora, we pray for their success and wishing them long life.
It is a festival whereby there is no spill of blood. It's forbidden. You cannot kill animals, even fresh fish. You cannot kill in this community as of today.
Some dignitaries present believed that such cultural fiesta, if well harnessed, can make Nigeria a major tourist destination, create employment for the youth, as well as boost income generation for the government.
Our culture is not divisive. We should live together as one people, as one nation.
I'm proud that from my roots, there is a culture that can be exported to the rest of the world.
Doing Dia NT News.
Nigeria and her rich cultural heritage, you can't take that away from us at all. Now, one of the major traditional heritage of the Opobo Kingdom, a riverine community in Rivers State, is the Opobo Water Carnival, otherwise known as the Opobo Boat Regatta, displayed every last week of December to usher in the activities of the new year. It is one of such exciting, entertaining and also nostalgic event indigenous and non-indigenous look forward to. Emmanuel Lene covered it for NTA News. Over to you, Emmanuel.
Every year, sons and daughters of Opobo, a riverine community in Rivers State, return home to celebrate various festivals which last from the last week of December into the new year. One of such age-long cultural heritage is the Opobo Water Carnival, also known as the Opobo Boat Regatta. It is the beginning of the Wauta dance play, one of the traditional religious rituals dedicated to the Otam, the god of the sacred forest.
This is the Opobo Water Carnival, also known as the Opobo Boat Regatta. It is an age-long heritage of the Opobo Kingdom, consisting of various movements and clubs, rowing for bragging rights.
The regatta is part of the Watam Carnival itself. The regatta is also part of the seafaring culture that we have. During the old days, people traded in palm kernel and oil, and they had paddlers who took them to the marketplace.
Various groups dressed in different attires, singing to display various paddling skills, with canoes decorated in reminiscence of the various wars fought in the course of adapting to the waters as its major means of economic survival.
As you can see, it's beautiful. Everybody's around. We're all excited. We want to see it. It's a yearly event. It brings our children back home. So this year they tried.
You can see the number of people who have assembled to be part of it. And that is only just the beginning. Because this is the season when we celebrate what Opobo town is known for.
The ancient Opobo had a very formidable navigation power. Most of our activities is on sea. So the sea power of ancient Opobo is continued today by those of us who succeeded our founding fathers.
The paddle, the uniform, how people dress. In short, everybody is together. No violence, no fight, no gunshot, nothing, all those things that we are in so many places. It's not here.
It's nice. It's really interesting.
The Opobo Water Carnival
is an annual event that brings together sons and daughters of Opobo, irrespective of political and religious differences.
From Opobo, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
Beautiful event there. Hope you enjoyed that segment, but we're not done yet. So don't abandon me now, please. Let's see what is in the sports world for 2020 together.
We have love. We'll be able to unite, irrespective of tribe, religion, and culture. So we keep preaching on love. That is the only binding force. Let us love ourselves, irrespective of where the person comes from.
You are about to witness the commencement of the most stimulating and compelling contest on television. this contest is only for the strong, the intelligent, and the talented. Get ready for the Unity Challenge reality TV show. Coming soon.
With total submission to the will of God Almighty, we, the family of Oleoha Okoliabo Chukudoro of Uli, Ihiala local government area, Anambra State, announce the passing on to glory of our father, grandfather, great-grandfather, brother and uncle, Ogwehi Wadike Alabuche Okoliabo Ezengolade. Burial arrangements are as follows. Thursday, 2nd January 2020, night of tribute and wakekeep at his compound, that's Umuoma Uli. Friday, 3rd January, body leaves Our Lady of Lourdes mortuary to his compound, that's Umuoma Uli, for lying in state at 8 a.m. At 10 a.m., funeral mass at Sacred Heart Parish, Umuoma Uli. Interment follows immediately at his compound. Saturday, 4th January, 10 a.m., condolence visit continues. Sunday, 5th January 2020, outing service at Sacred Heart Parish, Uli, Ihiala local government area. Time, 8 a.m. Signed by Silva Okoliabo FCA, son for the family.
Welcome back. An opposition party candidate and former Prime Minister Umaru Sissoco Embalo has been declared winner of the 2019 runoff presidential election in Guinea-Bissau. The National Electoral Commission announced that the retired Army General polled 53.5% of the total vote cast. And Musbaut Wahab reports.
Bissau Guineans have got something equally significant, like the beginning of another decade 2020 to celebrate. It's another beginning in their political revolution. For the first time, an opposition party has defeated the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cabo Verde, PAIGC, that has been the top party since the 1974 independence of the country.
Domingos Simões Pereira got 254,468 votes, equivalent of 46.4%, while Umaru Sissoco Embalo polled 293,536 votes, representing 53.5%. The CNE hereby declares the candidate Umaru Sissoco Embalo as the winner of the election.
It is only ironic that the candidate of the Madam G15, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, who came distant second in the November 24 first round of election with 27%, now upset the PAIGC candidate, Domingos Simões Pereira, who then polled 40%.
People are a little bit tired of the ruling party, which is the PAIGC, in which there is a lot of internal conflicts. And these conflicts inside this ruling party has just have impacts, negative impacts on the general life of the country.
The elected president and all the institutions of the state should work together in order to get Guinea start on the path of development.
My expectation is to see every Bissau Guinean together to build the development of this country.
The incumbent president, Jose Mario Vaz, failed in his attempt to secure a second term in office, but then he has made history for himself, going down as the first president since the 25-year independence of the country to complete a 5-year term in office without being assassinated or overthrown. In Bissau, Musbaut and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, thank you very much, Musbaut. Now to sports. 2020 is loaded with competitions of national and international applications. Kenema Abdike highlights some of these events on our sports package.
A
Another eventful sporting year beckons with the dawn of 2020. For starters, Nigerian athletes, both foreign and local-based, are expected to converge on Benin City, Edo State in March for the 20th edition of National Sports Festival, which will feature about 8,500 athletes in 33 sports, March 22 to April 1. Already, preparations have been in top gear for a successful outing at all relevant quarters.
We have perhaps one of the best governance systems in sports in this country, in Edo State.
Of course, it is an Olympic year, and Team Nigeria will be looking to change the narrative when they hit Tokyo, July 24 to August 9. While in Tokyo, Nigeria will compete in 11 sports.
What I project is that Nigeria should get to podium level of any of the sports that will participate.
In football, Super Eagles will be fully engaged in the qualifiers for 2021 Africa Cup of Nations and the 2022 FIFA World Cup, while the Super Falcons face qualifiers for the 2020 Africa Women's Nations Cup. Falconets and Flamingos will feature at 2020 FIFA Under-20 and Under-17 World Cups if they scale through the qualifiers. Meanwhile, in February, Abuja will host the Para Powerlifting World Cup following Nigeria's consistency in the sport globally, while Team Nigeria will be at the 2020 ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup in South Africa, January 17 to February 9. Two-time unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is expected to continue the defense of his WBA Super, IBF, WBO, and IBO titles in 2020. One recurrent decimal in Nigeria's sport is the claim of government interference by sport federations at times of crisis, a trend many say is unhealthy since government funding of the sector is mostly 100%.
He would plays the piper, he takes the tune. So I think way forward is that there should be a unity between the ministry and also the private sector and the federal government so that our sports can move forward.
With concerted efforts and good planning, Nigeria's sports in 2020 is bound to be highly successful. In Abuja, I am Kenan Ima Abudike, NTA News.
And let's see what the weather will look like on the second day of the year. And that's it on News Extra for tonight. I hope you enjoyed every bit of what we had for you today. Please, if you did, join us again next week. I am Fatima Umar Buba. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
My name is Jane, and I'm 18, and this is where I hang out with my friends. We are deeply concerned about the problems facing Nigeria, but when it comes to doing something about it, we would rather sit on the fence.
Pull up. Dab, 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 dab. Dab, 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 dab. Yes. Dab, 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 dab. Dab, 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 dab. Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. I am Lydia Odije Ochi.
Ignatius will call for Deadline 360.
In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Karaye, Deadline 360.
A closer system of government to the people over the years, observers say, has been involved in several.
The Gbagi Adorable Marriage Festival remains a sacred obligation.
For Deadline 360, Justina Etam.